The reason for the now notorious surge in organized crime across the United States in the 1920s was in large part due to the continued demand across the country for alcohol, despite its sale and consumption being mostly illegal under the 18th Amendment to the United States Constitution of 1919, as well as the Prohibition or Volstead Act that was ratified in January of 1919. 26. There had been a growing clamour for the banning of alcohol across the United States since the 1800s, especially amongst the more puritanical Protestant Christian members of the population, whose campaigns against the sale of liquor became more and more vocal and forthright as the decades passed, and was led by particularly ardent temperance supporters such as Carrie Nation, who became famous in 1900 for embarking on a divinely ordained rampage of violence across Kansas, in which she smashed up numerous bars and saloons with rocks and hatchets, claiming that God had told her to do so. Despite the more militant campaigners against alcohol, many of whom were women who had suffered at the hands of drunken husbands, the case for reform grew and grew, until eventually 46 states, most of whose politicians and officials were now under massive pressure to pass the 18th Amendment, eventually gave in, meaning that by the beginning of the 1920s, the sale and consumption of the vast majority of alcoholic beverages was illegal in America. Nonetheless, many people, especially those of Italian and Irish background or heritage, had no intention of abstaining from alcohol consumption, and so it wasn't long before a massive black market industry sprang up across America, which played directly into the hands of the grateful underworld, who increasingly made a fortune from shipping and selling liquor across the country in defiance of prohibition.